welcome to the Retro Odyssey podcast. I'm your host Steven, along with my co-host Matt. How's it going, Matt?
Not too bad, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Did you have a good Christmas?
Yeah, not bad, thanks. I was working through most of it, but yeah, it was all right. I got a few nice things. Got a couple of David Bowie box sets that I've been wanting for a while. My
Oh,
mum got
very
me a
nice.
huge blanket with prints on it that's now on my bedroom wall. So yeah, and the usual stuff, socks and deodorant, shower gels, that kind of thing.
Hmm.
But yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
very
how about
nice.
yourself?
We so we, I mean, my wife works in healthcare and I work at the airport, so we also work through most holidays. But yeah, it was pretty good. My son got a lot of good stuff. A lot of uh, a lot of art stuff because he's gotten really into coloring books here lately. So that's a lot of fun. We're desperately trying to keep him from coloring on the walls. Um, but yeah, as you can expect, we're a lot more focused on uh, what he gets now. But yeah, we got some nice stuff. We got a handful of gift cards from my parents. Um, I actually got a license for one of the virtual tabletops for RPG games. So I've been playing around with that for the past couple of days. But yeah, it was all right. Is about as good as could be expected.
Awesome. So what have you been playing over the past couple of months then?
So it's actually wild. I don't think I've played Pokemon at all since we last recorded. Um, I played a bunch of Metroid. Um, I really, really tried to get Metroid Prime 4 when it came out, but it just wasn't happening. So that's gonna have to wait till next year. But I played a ton of Metroid, and then here just in the past week or so, um, I started getting back into roguelikes. So I've been playing Binding of Isaac. Um, I've been playing. I booted up a couple of the small ones that I have. I played a little bit of Vampire Survivors. Mostly just stuff that I can do quickly on the go. Like I installed Binding of Isaac on my 3DS, uh, so I could play the original Rebirth and have it much more portable than my Switch.
I didn't realise it was out on 3DS.
Yeah, yeah, it was on 3DS. It's on Vita.
Do those versions still get updates?
No, no, they didn't even get any kind of DLC or anything. So the uh, the 3DS version has at least at least got an update to incorporate the extra controls from the new 3DS, the extra buttons in the nub, but it doesn't have any of the new content beyond Rebirth. But the Vita version still has PlayStation trophies, so that's why I have that installed on my Vita, so I can
Hmm.
farm you know an easy trophy. But yeah, so that's mainly what I've been doing. Is just you know kind of jumping around from game to game. I booted up Baldur's Gate 3 a couple of times, and then put it down because I just don't have the time to commit to something like that right now. But yeah, what have you been playing?
I've actually been playing quite a lot this month. Aside from the usual stuff, Guild Wars 2 and Vampire Survivors, which I always play a hell of a lot of. Um, I was looking through my PlayStation library just to see what I had, and I noticed that I had Horizon Zero Dawn there, which I'd never played. God knows when I bought it, but it was there in my library, so I downloaded it, and 75 hours later, I now have my first platinum trophy.
Yeah, that is a fantastic game. I loved it.
It was the PS4 version that I had in my library, but there was like a £10 upgrade for the PS5 version, which I wasn't going to do, but I got like 2 hours into the game. I thought, yeah, I'm really enjoying this. I'll just pay that £10. And it looks gorgeous, plays fantastically. I really love this kind of like open world exploration survival kind of game. It's very, very, very similar to the Tomb Raider reboot games, which I really enjoyed.
Yes.
And those open world parts of The Evil Within as well. It's kind of like similar to that. I mean, The Evil Within 2 rather. And I just fell in love with it. And like I said, first time I've ever gotten a platinum trophy for something. I did get a friend to do the hunting ground stuff for me because I was shit at that, but yeah, 75 hours I've spent in that game.
I mean, look, it's a good game. I think if it had come out at any other time, it would have gotten more notice, but because it came out so close to Breath of the Wild and was so similar, it kind of got overshadowed.
It's a better game than Breath of the Wild.
I mean, I'm not going to argue with that.
I love Breath of the Wild, but yeah, this is a better game, I would say. I'm really looking forward to the sequel. Still kind of expensive at the minute, so I'll probably wait for a sale for the like complete edition. But yeah. Like I said, I spent a hell of a long time on that. I am also back on my Minecraft bullshit again. Every few years, I get the itch to play Minecraft, and I'm back on it again. A YouTuber that I watch quite a lot, a streamer called TTV Liz, she was playing it, and I thought, yeah, why not? So I got back into that. The last time that I played, they had just added water temples, which is quite a few years ago now. So load of new stuff since then. I was always quite shit at building bases and stuff like that, so I've actually been following, like, I've spent the past 3 days building a house from a YouTube tutorial. And I'm just enjoying exploring, going out, getting my materials, and because I like doing everything in survival mode, like creative mode I couldn't give a crap about really. So following these tutorials, going out, finding the materials for it, and yeah, just enjoying myself on that.
Yeah, that's how I play Minecraft. I also will only play like once every 5 or 6 years, but I don't have the creativity to do some of the wacky stuff that like my brother was able to do in creative mode. But I really he showed me how to basically how to strip mine for ore and diamonds, and I really took to that. So whenever I play Minecraft, that's basically what I do, is just spend time making a giant mining complex.
Yeah, I don't tend to go for anything as complex as that. I have seen those strip mining videos; they look fantastic, but yeah, I just tend to kind of like play it the regular way. With one concession, I always make sure that the option to keep my inventory on death is on.
Yes.
Because fuck that. I'm not dying in a cave somewhere and losing all my shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've been playing that for about the past week or so. But another game that, I mean, I was going to bring this up in the news section, but I've been playing it as well. Guild Wars, the original Guild Wars, got a new update called Guild Wars Reforged. It isn't like a remake like Warcraft 3 Reforged was, so nothing like that. But it is an update that it adds a lot of graphical options to it, stuff like bloom, post-processing effects, support for higher res monitors, adds a new quest tracker, which is really, really nice addition. And they've also consolidated all of the expansions into one package, which is like $20. So you can get the complete game now for $20.
Nice. Let me go look, because I saw that. Actually, I think we talked about that when it was announced, but that seems really cool. And if it's $20. So if that's the whole game for $20, that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, there's one DLC pack that's separate called Eye of the North, which you buy separately, and there's a handful of kind of like microtransactions, just like Guild Wars 2 has.
Right.
But if you have ever owned any one of the 3 campaigns, because there were like 3 campaigns for the game, and they were all kind of like standalone. If you have ever owned any of those, then you now have all of them on your account.
Nice.
So you just need to log into your account again, and you will have the complete edition there.
Oh, and the Reforged version is Steam Deck verified.
It is, yes.
Handy that.
The announcement live stream that they did had a guy playing with a controller. So you can play with a controller now as well. It's never had controller support before. Well, not official controller support.
Right.
But that's now kind of like a plug and play option. So you can do that. So they've kind of like rebound some stuff with the controller to make sure everything works and stuff like that. And they are looking at continuing to make updates. They've already made kind of like a rebalancing update, and they've added like a hardcore mode as well. You get kind of like you can choose to play kind of like a hardcore character, and you have like a flag above your head. If you get through the game without dying, you keep that flag. Unlike in a lot of hardcore stuff, if you die, you don't lose that character, but you will lose the flag. So that is kind of like a soft hardcore mode, so you can still keep playing that character, you just won't have the flag anymore. And there's another mode where you can get like extra XP, stuff like that. So they are looking to continue adding and updating stuff, which I think is really good for the age of the game.
Oh, for sure. At this point, we're talking about Guild Wars being like RuneScape, and that you've got the original that's still being maintained, and then the new version that's being continued to be maintained. Yeah.
I mean, they are very different games.
I mean, they are very different games, but it's just the comparison came to mind looking at it, because like the original Guild Wars, that came out a while ago, didn't it?
It's 20 years old.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Because Guild Wars 2 came out in, 2016, 2017?
Guild Wars 2 came out in 2012.
Wow.
So it is... Yeah. It's just had its, 15-year... Well, just about to have its 15-year anniversary.
It looks like it's replaced the original on shops.
It has, yes. But again, unlike the Warcraft 3 Reforged thing, it's still the same game. Nothing about the gameplay has changed. It's just got a graphical update and a couple quality of life UI upgrades and stuff like that.
Controller support. Yeah,
Yeah,
the kind of things that, if you're gonna replace the version you can buy, that's what you want to be changed.
yeah. So see it more as like one of those GOG preservation project games.
Yeah, pretty much. I know what I'm getting is that ArenaNet are a really good company.
Yeah, yeah, for the most part.
Yeah, I am, I will definitely pick this up, especially if I can play it on Steam Deck, because again, having a 2-year-old is much easier to play things that can move. Um, but yeah, I will definitely pick this up, and uh, now that now that we're getting into U.S. tax season and I've got a little more money coming in, I can get caught up on the Guild Wars 2 expansions.
There is also an excellent documentary that they released a few weeks ago about the history of Guild Wars, like the 20-year history of the studio and the development of both games,
Mhm.
which is free on YouTube. It's about an hour long, but it's a really good documentary if you want to check that out.
I most certainly will. That sounds awesome.
But that is pretty much everything I've been playing. I mean, that is quite a lot of stuff to be honest. But yeah, yeah, it's been a busy couple months of games for me.
I mean, yeah, it's I guess we never know when we're gonna find a new rabbit hole to go down when it comes to games. But yeah, if that's all we have, I don't know if we have any particular uh, news topics.
Well, there is one. It's a bit of a bummer, but I did want to bring it up. But
Okay.
Rebecca Heineman passed away. She was a video game designer and programmer. Also, as far as I'm aware, the very first trans winner of video game tournament, and she was also responsible for the one of the Doom ports. I believe it was the 32X Doom port, which was done in kind of like record time, which she managed to kind of like pump out at the last minute and still made it playable. She's worked on like so many different games. So look, she did ports for Alien v Predator, Baldur's Gate 2, Heroes of Might and Magic 4.
Wow.
And yeah, she sadly passed away, and that was about a month ago. And yeah, that is someone who's been like very pivotal in the video game scene.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but definitely left her mark, I would say.
Oh, absolutely.
Like just from that list you read off, that's a fantastic resume.
Yeah, so a bit of a bummer news story, but yeah, I did want to bring that up because she has worked on probably quite a lot of the games that we've actually played on this podcast.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, but I believe that's all of the news that we have. So shall we move on to talking about the topic for this month?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
Okay.
All right, so as we get into our topic for the episode, Listeners, it is with much regret that I have to make an announcement. I've talked this over with Matt, and we have run out of Christmas games that we want to play. I'm sure there's other Christmas games out there, but most of them are garbage. So instead, what we're doing is we actually reached out to Adam and Ryan and told them to choose games for us to play as games to give to us as gifts.
For those listeners who are new, Adam and Ryan were previous co-hosts of this podcast, who went their separate ways a while ago.
Yes, and we still talk to them pretty frequently. They just don't have the time. But yeah, so we thought that was a nice way to incorporate them and save us from having to pick something. So the first of the games that we're going to talk about is Ryan's gift. It is Kirby's Dream Land 3.
Yes, for the Super Nintendo.
Yes, which I the first like 3 times I went to play this, I kept forgetting it was a Super Nintendo game and kept going to the Game Boy because I knew that's where the first 2 were.
Yeah, that's where the good ones are.
Yeah, so I have full disclosure. Before this, I had never played a Kirby game for any length of time. I think I once played Kirby's Epic Yarn for like 10 minutes. But I doing some research, I heard that the second game was generally considered to be better than the third one by some people. So, do you have any history with Kirby?
Yes, actually. We had a Game Boy when we were kids. Didn't have a huge amount of games for it. I believe we had Tetris, because everyone had Tetris.
Right.
Super Mario Land, James Pond 2, RoboCod, and Kirby's Dream Land. And because we didn't have many games for it, I played quite a lot of all of them. So I have actually played like quite a lot of Kirby's Dream Land. Not for a good couple decades, probably about 3 decades. But I have very fond memories of that game. Loved it to bits. The music is great. It's got a really nice vibe to it, even with it just being kind of like monochrome on the Game Boy. So yeah, I have played like quite a bit of that in the past, but the one we played this month is actually only the second Kirby game that I've played. I've not played anything else of the franchise in the intervening years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know the series is well beloved by a lot of people. I never played it as a kid. I was introduced to Mario and Zelda and Sonic, and I just never touched Kirby. I think the closest I got to playing Kirby was the Subspace Emissary in Super Smash Brothers, because it's made by the guy that makes Kirby.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'll be totally honest. This game it did not grab me the way our other game did. I played it a few times, but it just wasn't. It wasn't grabbing me.
It's not the best introduction to Kirby, I can tell you that.
Okay, that would make sense.
So it's kind of like my issue with it is, I know people often criticize Nintendo of making games for kids, which can be valid in maybe one or two cases, but in the stuff that they do aim primarily at kids, there is kind of like an element there for more experienced gamers to kind of dig their teeth into, and whether it be collectibles or challenges, stuff like that.
Right.
For me, this particular game, just you could almost just hold the right mouse button and jump and make it through a good portion of the game without really engaging with it at all. So you can the whole concept of Kirby is you can suck up enemies and take on their powers, and use those to traverse the levels, which was like a big mechanic in the original Kirby's Dream Land. This time around, no different. You can still do that, or you could just ignore it and run to the end of the level, because unless you're going for like the odd collectible or stuff like that, you just don't need to engage with the game's mechanics at all, really. One or two bosses where you actually have to kind of like learn a pattern, but not particularly difficult. I mean, I only got to the end of like the first world before I got like really, really bored of it. I think that's like 6 levels, something like that. And I was just getting so bored because you literally can just run through levels so fast. The levels tend to be split up into small segments, which maybe take you about a minute, 2 minutes each, and then you go through a door and get like a different section. There's no real verticality to the level. I mean, there are some levels where you go from the bottom of the screen to the top. Most of the levels are going from left to right, but there aren't levels where you need to kind of like traverse the level like backwards and forwards, up and down all at the same time, like you do in kind of like Sonic games, a lot of the Mario games, stuff like that. So the level design is really, really simplistic, and like I said, you can just jump over most enemies, or you can, if you don't want to take up the powers of certain enemies, you can suck up any enemy and just spit it out as like a regular fireball and kill another enemy with it. And there's just no challenge to it as well. The game even offers you kind of like an AI companion, who is going around killing enemies as well on like the same screen as yourself. And it just seems like they wanted to make it as simple as possible for small children, and didn't bother putting in any of the challenge that they have done previously and continue to do in their more childlike games.
Yeah, I mean, I will say what I do know of some of the later Kirby games, they definitely seemed like there was a lot more to engage with mechanically. And some of that was, using the gimmicks of the consoles. Like, I think for Kirby's Epic Yarn, you had to move the Wii Remote to do some things. For Kirby and the Rainbow Curse, you were drawing on the gamepad to do things. I just went when I was playing this one, I was like, okay, so I can jump, I can absorb, and I can break these blocks, and that's about it. Like, and I understand, this is a Super Nintendo game. It's not gonna have that level of mechanical complexity that a Wii game does, but the last Super Nintendo game I played was Super Metroid. So
yeah, and plus the Game Boy games did have that. At least the first one.
Yeah, so from what you're saying, it's more of a design issue than a hardware limitation.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I mean, this is the same console that had Super Mario World which just has so much variety and challenge throughout it.
And so much
Compare
to do.
that to this.
And that's in the same genre, like, because I can be like, this is this is the console that had Link to the Past and Super Metroid, but those are completely different genres. And actually, if I remember correctly, this was a very late Super Nintendo game as well.
I mean, it looks pretty enough.
I want to say it came out like 96. Like it was very late, like late enough that it almost could have been on the N64.
97.
Yeah.
So it's yeah, really, really, really late in the life cycle. And like I said, same developer as well. It's a Nintendo game.
Yeah.
And when you see kind of like pretty much the pinnacle of platforming with Super Mario World, and the same developer then coming out with this, it just seems like I don't know what happened, to be honest with you. I really don't. Even the music isn't as good as the Game Boy version. Have a listen when you can to the music from Kirby's Dream Land, the first one on the Game Boy. That music is beautiful.
That's wild because like the Super Nintendo is like one of the better systems for music.
But yeah, they just, I don't know. Seems to me like they maybe got the B team on this one. And I know Kirby's never been as popular as Mario, but I feel he deserves better love than this. I mean, he's getting love now. He's like literally just got a racing game come out, but
Yeah.
which I'm told is very good. But in terms of the platformers, this seems like a really weak point. And like I say, I've only played the very first one. I hope the other ones are better than this.
Well, so I've heard a lot of good things about the N64 game, Kirby 64: The Crystal Shards, and uh, I've heard good things about the Game Boy Advance titles, and I know the where is it? Kirby's Air Ride for the GameCube was like a very well loved title. Yeah, so it, it's a series that a lot of people do love, but like you said, this does not seem like a good introduction to Kirby.
No, not at all. There are. Have you ever played any of the Klonoa games?
I haven't. I've heard of them.
They kind of like a spiritual successor to Kirby. I've never played the PlayStation 1 game, but the PlayStation 2 game is excellent. And that's another game where you can kind of like take on the abilities of your enemies and use them in kind of like interesting ways. That is well worth a look if you're after kind of like a decent Kirby style game. But it's way better than this. I mean, maybe a few worlds in it gets a bit more interesting. But when you can get a power up which just lets you fly and avoid all the enemies and just go straight to the exit in like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And if you were on the ground not using that power up, it would probably take you 45. It's there's just no challenge. Small children will probably enjoy it. And there are collectibles, there are stuff that you can do to get like extra stuff, like extra power ups, stuff like that. But when you can complete the game without it, it just doesn't seem worth it.
Yeah, because like I know when I played through the first area, I was like, hunting around and finding as many of those little stars as I could. And then you get to the little thing after where you get power-ups based on how much you got, and I don't remember ever using those. I don't know. I might give Kirby's Epic Yarn another try because I heard good things about it at the time. I have a copy, so it's not something I gotta go track down.
It's definitely worth giving the first one a blast.
Okay. Well, and I can definitely access that through Switch Online.
Or even just listening to the soundtrack, because the music in that game is excellent.
But yeah, so, sorry, Ryan, we're not big fans of this one.
No, it's I kind of feel like this might have been revenge for something.
I mean, he's the one that inflicted TMNT on us in the first place.
Oh Christ! Yeah, I forgot about that.
That game never sold, did it?
Well, some sucker sold the game to me because I bought a physical copy of that.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is the copy that you got and then put on eBay, it never sold, did it?
I don't think it did. No, I think it's still in a box somewhere.
Where
Hopefully
it belongs.
Rotting. Yeah.
Right next to E.T. for the Atari 2600.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so to avoid seeming ungrateful, we're gonna take a quick break and move on to our next game, which was lovingly suggested by Adam.
Okay.
All right, so our second game, given to us by Adam, he was actually very passionate about this, and I understand why. The game is Eternal Sonata, which came out on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, and in stark contrast to the way we were just feeling, this game is fantastic.
Yes.
Like, I mean, I love this game. I love the art style. I love the narrative conceit. Like, I like the combat. This game is awesome.
Yeah, and it astounds me, first of all, that Adam suggested an RPG. Like, quite. If you've listened to some of our earlier episodes, Adam is not an RPG fan at all.
Yeah, like the fact that we got a JRPG from Adam,
A turn-based one,
and he said this is the only RPG that he's really a fan of.
He did also give us that one on the Saturn, which was really good. I forget the name of it.
I mean, if you want to get technical, actually, no, he didn't pick Symphony of the Night, did he? It was no, Adam picked Symphony of the Night.
Wow, well, Adam is very good at picking games.
He's very good at picking RPGs, despite his protestations.
Yeah. But yeah, this from first booting it up, this is a beautiful game.
So, okay, I wanted to ask, did you played the 360 version?
Yes, through emulation.
Okay. Because at first I was emulating the PlayStation 3 version, which, just a heads up for anyone who may want to check this game out, this game is a bugger to emulate, because Xbox 360 emulation is already rough. PS3 emulation is better, but this one really struggles. It has a lot of graphical issues. It crashes a lot. It's rough. But I bring it up because when I booted up the PS3 version, there was an extra little scene in the beginning of like the characters talking to the player.
Oh.
And I don't know if that was something that was added for the PS3 version, or if it like thought there was save data or something, because it was like, somebody saying, another journey begins, and someone saying welcome back or whatever. But yeah, it's nowhere to be found in the 360 version unless I'm missing something.
Because I know the game does have like New Game Plus, so maybe it did think that you already had save data.
Maybe, I don't know.
But the emulation is rough. I played it through Xenia, and quite a lot of graphical glitches. And going in and out of combat, there was quite a lot of stuttering as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, not an easy game to emulate, but that didn't take away from my enjoyment.
Yeah, so I actually, emulating the PS3 version, I didn't get that many of the graphical issues, but what I got was the crashes, and it was like, anytime I came out of a battle, I had a 50-50 shot of the game freezing. So I ended up buying a physical copy for the 360, because like even just what I was able to play on the emulation, I knew I wanted to own this game.
So one thing I did want to ask you actually, does it play on the Xbox One?
It does not.
Ah, god damn it! I was going to say if it does, then I will pick up a physical copy. But I mean, I have a 360, but I don't want to have another console hooked up down here, to be honest.
Right.
At the moment, so I've not got much more space to put consoles. I'll stick with the emulation.
Yeah, it only plays on the 360. Doesn't play on the Xbox One. Doesn't play on the Xbox Series.
Though if you are getting a physical copy, the Xbox One is probably the one to go for, because for some reason the 360 version is really cheap and the PS3 version is really expensive.
Yeah.
I was looking on eBay, like £10 I can get the 360 version for.
Yeah, I got it for, I want to say I got it for close to $10. It's not hard to find copies of the game. But yeah, I mean, you just like a handful, 14, 15, 10.
And the PS3 ones, from what I could see, started at around 40.
So I think what happened is when it originally came out, it was, I think when it originally was a exclusive, and then was later released on PS3. Because I think whenever Adam talked about it, he talked about it like it was an exclusive.
Yeah, because he did specifically mention playing the 360 version.
Ah, okay. So the PS3 version actually has enhancements. It has additional characters, new costumes, and extra quests, and then visuals and soundtrack updates.
That's probably why it's more expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you go disc only, you're getting down into like the 20s. But yeah, so well, okay, maybe I will end up getting a PlayStation version if it's got that much extra stuff. But I guess that would explain the opening cutscene I saw, because if they added enhancements to the PS3 version, then that would make sense that they had the little extra scene that's like, a new journey begins, welcome back or whatever.
Yes. Or they probably just didn't want to start the game with a suicide.
Well, yes.
Because this game gets dark fast.
Yeah, like, what's the phrase? 0 to 100 real quick?
Yes.
Dear God.
So it starts with a girl throwing herself off a cliff and wondering if she blows a kiss if this other person can reach it from there, and then she says, like, I guess not. And then falls into the abyss. And then it goes to a really happy meadow scene with a woman talking to her daughter, who asks about waves, and then gets really deep into a philosophical discussion about the nature of men's hearts.
Yeah.
It's it doesn't mess around, this game. It goes to some deep and dark places.
Which, on the one hand, I'm here for it. On the other, I'm not used to jumping in that fast.
Yeah. Plus that cut scene is like 8 hours long.
Yeah, that's the worst part about starting is like I would see that first extra scene, then the game crashed. And I would watch that first extra scene again, then I would watch the first half of the scene of her throwing herself off the cliff, and it would crash. And then I have to start over at the beginning.
It crashed on me 3 times during the scene in the meadow, to the point where I just skipped it and watched it on YouTube.
Yeah.
But when I got into the game, I didn't experience any more crashes after that. Just the odd graphical glitch and stuttering issues.
Now, there is one thing I noticed. When you come out of battle, like the character will like flicker a little bit.
I think that's intentional.
That is intentional because that is on the physical version.
Yeah.
Because I at first I thought that was a graphical glitch that I was getting, but then I saw it on the physical version. I was like, oh, okay, that might be intended.
Yeah, because that is when the game stuttered for me, going in and out of combat. Mm-hmm. But having seen a bit of gameplay on YouTube as well, I've noticed that it does actually do that. Mm-hmm. Like normally, just without the stuttering.
But yeah, I mean the fact that we were so enamored with this game from get-go, despite having a ton of technical issues, just speaks very highly of the game.
So basically, the premise of the game is the composer, Chopin, the actual guy, is in a coma as a teenager. And like I said, the game is fucking dark. And he has a doctor with the worst bedside manner ever.
Oh, God.
His mother says, oh, he looks very peaceful. The doctor says, well, yeah, that probably means he's going to die soon. But he is essentially dreaming. He believes that he's dreaming this other world. And you start off in this other world before you actually get introduced to Chopin. And you are playing this young girl initially, like teenage girl, who is the slightly grown-up version of the little girl from the intro cutscene, like the one in the meadow, not the suicide one.
The meadow, yeah.
And it plays similar to Final Fantasy X, honestly, without the random battles. You're just moving around the overworld. Enemies are actually visible on the screen, so you can avoid them if you want. Unlike with Final Fantasy X, where it was random battles.
It's more like Final Fantasy 12 or 13 in that instance.
Yeah, Yeah, I guess. Yeah, quite close to 13 actually. And combat is deceptively simplistic. There are there are only four buttons. You've got a special attack, normal attack, guard, and item.
Hmm.
But they add a lot of depth into those four buttons later
Hmm.
on. When you first start off, you just do a normal attack, stuff like that. But the game has a really interesting mechanic that I've not seen done in another game. In that your special attacks change depending on whether you're in the light or the shade. So you can kind of like move around. It's turn-based combat. You've got a certain amount of time once you start moving to perform your actions. It's not a huge amount of time, but if you move yourself to a light area, you have a different attack to if you move yourself into the shade. And sometimes you don't really get a choice of which one to use, because if it's a melee attack, you've got to be next to the boss anyway. So if the boss is in the shade or in the light, then that's the one you're going to use. But when you get access to some ranged attacks later on, it adds this tactical depth that, like I said, isn't really there in the core initial system, but it just adds this depth gradually and makes for a really, really interesting system of combat that I've not seen done in many other games.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and what I found was, um, like that initial uh, set where you're just with the girl, going through the forest. You are just doing basic attacks, and you may not even notice the light and shade mechanic, because they introduce it to you in the next section, or it's either the section after the one with her or her next section where they introduce it. But what I found was, did even when you have just melee characters, if depending on where you position your characters, and you can kind of add an element of strategy to that. Like there was one point where I had an enemy basically standing in the light, but there was a point of shade right behind him, and I was able to like get in behind and use a shade attack. Um, so I wasn't able to get very far because of the technical issues and then having to wait for the physical copy, but I can already see I can already see the potential in this system.
Oh yeah, there is. There's another thing as well. Later on, you do get enemies that will block from the front, so you have to position yourself towards the back of them. Usually, their shields only up for like a few attacks, but you can get a lot more damage in if you go in behind them. And while you're in battle, you have free reign of movement, so you can move like wherever in the arena you want, as long as you have enough of your action gauge left. So there is positional stuff to think about as well.
And the thing I really liked about the movement and the time gauge is for the first few segments, um, moving consumes time, but if you stop, it the the meter will stop and wait for you to make decisions. But once you get past a certain point, the game will come up and say, "All right, from this point forward, once you move for the first time, the clock doesn't stop."
Yeah.
And number one, I really like that gradual introduction of the mechanic, but I also like the very clear communication of, this is what you've been doing, this is what's about to change.
Yeah, and it's it's explained in a really clear way, because a lot of the time the battle mechanics are either explained by the girl initially as you're playing, as she's talking to herself, reminding herself about a battle, and in the second section, it's a boy talking to his younger brother, explaining battle mechanics to him, and there's a bit of like fourth wall breaking. They are talking about which buttons on the controller to press and stuff like that. Like you want to press RB and LB to kind of like escape a fight and stuff like that. But it is done in kind of like a very clear way. So, it's all very well explained.
Yes.
Easy to pick up, but still with that tactical depth hidden in there.
Yeah, and again, like, even this early in the game, and this is a JRPG, so it's a long one, but even this early in the game, we could see the intricacies of the system. We could see how they could improve it as the game goes on. It, like you said, very, very well communicated, very well presented, pretty much on all fronts.
So how far did you end up getting?
Well, let me boot it up and find out. I know I got to a big boss fight with after Chopin joined the party. I don't think I got much further than that.
I'm about. Well, I got to the point where the two separate parties kind of like join into one.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't get that far.
They both end up going to pretty much the same place, and they end up meeting up and joining up, and then you get a full party of 4 to play with. But that's still like fairly early in the game. But yeah. I do intend to play quite a bit more of this, because I am enjoying it quite a lot.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to keep going with this. And the other thing the listener should keep in mind is, we talk about all this stuff, all this dark stuff, all this intricate design. It's also presented with like stunning artwork. Like, and this is not like, like graphical realism. This is fully, designed and, crafted artwork, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's very, very much like an anime kind of style. And, it's beautiful. It's very colourful, which is a massive contrast to like the dark themes. I mean, wait until you hear how people can cast magic.
Oh, jeez!
It's because they're about to die. Yeah.
Yeah, like this game does not mess around.
But it starts off. It starts off basically with this group of people are essentially trying to force political change, because there are a couple of people who have to steal food in order to help impoverished people, and the other team are trying to kind of like, well, the girl is trying to kind of like make a living, and because the taxes are so high on the stuff that she's selling and so low on the stuff that's being produced by the government, she can't make any money. So they're kind of like joining up to go to and try and convince the government to kind of like change taxes and stuff like that. So it starts off with quite a heavy political message. I don't know where it goes from there, but that's where it starts off.
Yeah.
Also, every character is named after musical terms.
Not just every character, every location, um, like everything is music.
Yeah, you've got musical styles like polka, salsa. You have beat. You've got Chopin, obviously, forte. Everything is kind of like musically influenced.
Yeah, one of the characters is Allegretto. The city is Retardando.
Like, you can tell a lot of love and thought went into it.
Yeah, like this is very. This was very clearly somebody had a vision for this game. Um, just looking at the Wikipedia page, the Xbox version came out in 2007, and the PS3 version came out a year later. So that, yeah, it was intended to be an expanded version.
But yeah, I've not got far enough into it to know if Chopin is dreaming this world. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. Maybe it's just a place that he can visit while he's dreaming. But it makes sense thematically that stuff in his dream would be named after musical terms, which kind of makes me sad that it maybe is all in his head. But that's something I'll have to find out at a later point.
Yeah, I mean, I play Kingdom Hearts. I'm used to video games making me cry, so. And that's something you understand because you played the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah. I also played the whole of Final Fantasy X, which has the most emotionally wrought headshake in video game history.
Yeah, and this game, like, just from the overworld navigation, like you said, the combat feels a little inspired by 10. This game, it's like they saw Final Fantasy X in 2000, 2001, and then spent the next 5-6 years saying, we could make something that looks better and is more messed up than that.
Yeah. There is. I have one complaint. I would love a minimap.
Yeah. Just constantly having to open the map.
Especially the sewers. Because you've got to almost kind of like double back on yourself to get to where you need to go.
Yeah.
I wish there was a minimap. But apart from that, no complaints.
Yeah, I have, I have nothing bad to say about this game. Like, it.
Why did we not know about this game?
Because the
Adam
Xbox
know about it?
Like, the 360 was a weird time. There was a lot of these, especially for RPGs, there was a lot of these games that came out and were fantastic and well beloved that practically nobody heard about. Because the other game that this very much reminds me of is a Square Enix title that came out for the 360 called Infinite Undiscovery, which is not as music. It's not like, it's not everything is tied to music like this one is, but like your main character is a bard. I don't remember exactly when that one came out, but like, there's that one. This is when Nier came out. Like, the 360 was just that whole generation was just a weird time where a lot of games were able to fall into the cracks.
Yeah, because you get sandwiched in between a lot of really big games. Like, Oblivion came out not long after the 360 came out.
Yeah.
And that just kind of like, that was the RPG to get.
Yeah, and then, Skyrim did the same thing, several years later. So yeah, I'm not surprised that this game kind of fell into the cracks, it is a bummer. Um, because this game is fantastic. It deserves to be experienced by more people, and it is kind of a pain because it's not on modern systems, it's not on PC, and the physical copies won't be backwards compatible with anything.
Yeah, that's a real shame. It's something I would love to see get a port to modern systems.
A port at least. I mean, uh, you could even get it a remaster.
I don't think it
And
needs it.
it doesn't need it, but you could add things like a mini map. You add things like a mini map, the extra content from the PS3 version, make like a definitive version that doesn't change much, but adds in the little things that are missing.
One other thing I wanted to ask you actually, which audio language did you play in? I played it in English, but Japanese is
I
available.
played it in English.
Is available. Yeah. So I don't know if the Japanese voice acting is decent, but the English voice acting is good.
Yeah, the English is really good. I don't. Um, I don't know for sure. I mean, I don't have a ton of experience with Japanese voice acting at the time, but I'll probably end up playing it in Japanese at least once.
And for some reason, Chopin has an American accent, even though he's French, but still.
He was Polish, wasn't he?
Yeah, Polish, sorry, yeah. But yeah, he has an American accent in this.
Because of course he does.
But yeah, absolutely check this game out. It is a pain to emulate, but if you do have a 360 console, which, quite easy to get these days, honestly,
Yeah.
then go that route. If not, then emulating the 360 version is probably your best bet. Just expect that it won't run perfectly. Make quick saves where you can, just in case it does crash.
I didn't think about this at the time, but this is like this game is like perfectly targeted at us because we're fans of video games, RPGs in particular, and music.
Yes.
Because like I don't make music like you do, but I am very into music. I've been involved in performing my whole life, so like this game was practically targeted at us, and we missed it.
I mean, I make very different kind of music to what Chopin made, but
Oh, of course. But the the core concepts are you know are always uniform. A crescendo is a crescendo no matter what the genre is. But yeah, I wish I had more to say about this game because I wish I had gotten further in. But I only got like I think just under 2 hours. But yeah, I will definitely keep playing this game and experience the rest of it because this is fantastic. Adam, well done.
yes, thank you very much. And thank you, Ryan, as well. It may not have been for us, but not every video game's for everyone.
Yeah, as this podcast has shown.
Yes. You guys and your Mega Man games.
Well, not only that, but we've taken games that are well beloved by everyone and just ripped them to pieces because we didn't like them.
Yeah.
I actually did. I picked up a couple of I picked up the Mega Man X collections on the Steam sale because they were only like $7.
Well, that Mega Man X4, I think it was the only one I've actually finished and enjoyed.
Yep, that's because it's a really good one. It's that was actually that was the same episode as Symphony of the Night.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that was a good episode.
Yeah, Mega Man didn't end up in my top 5 games of all time like that did, but I still enjoyed it. But the NES ones, Jesus Christ, they can fuck off.
Yeah, I don't like classic Mega Man. I like Mega Man X. But yeah, so I guess that's all we really have. So we'll take a quick break and come back and finish up.
Okay.
So that was our Christmas episode. Thank you again to Adam and Ryan for providing the games. We very much appreciate you helping us out, even in what might seem like a small way. We do miss both of you.
Yes, definitely. And also, we couldn't think of any Christmas games to play.
Yes, because we already played the good ones and a lot of the bad ones. But yeah, so thank you again to our friends, and thank you to the listeners for listening. We will be back next year with more games, most of them old. We may throw some curveballs in there like we usually do, but until that time, all we have to do is say goodbye. So, goodbye.
Goodbye.